If the best indicator of future performance is past practice, then it's time to stop taking Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's greenhouse gas emission targets seriously. He's already missed his 2020 target. His Environment Minister said last week that the oil and gas sector is probably going to miss the 2030 target. None of that's surprising because the Liberals have never hit a single target they've set since John Chrétien set the first one in 1993. The Conservatives have never hit a single target they've set since Brian Mulroney set the first one in 1988. So over 34 years, Conservative and Liberal governments have set 8 separate targets, and they've missed every single one. And they haven't missed them by just a little. For example, in 2020, Justin Trudeau missed the target by the total emissions of the electricity sector in 2020. However, 2020 was an unusual year because it was the first year of the global pandemic and economic activity fell all over the world. And when economic activity falls, emissions fall. So if Justin Trudeau had to hit his 2020 target based on 2019 emissions, which was more in keeping with historical norms, he would have had to shut down the entire electricity sector, or the equivalent, plus almost all of the agriculture sector. But the game changer has been that ever since 2019, all of us are paying through carbon taxes and carbon pricing to reduce emissions. We all recall that Justin Trudeau imposed a carbon tax which is currently $50 per ton of emissions, rising to $170 per ton of emissions in 2030. Now, the federal government before the 2019 federal election said they'd never raise it above $50 per ton of emissions. After the election, they announced graded increases up to $170 per ton of emissions in 2030. So what does that mean, and what's the problem? Well, the problem is, since actual real emission reductions are no longer related to what the carbon price is, we don't know how much we're really paying to reduce emissions. And we certainly have no idea of whether the money we are paying to reduce emissions is money well spent and effectively spent. Overall, the real way to look at Trudeau's carbon taxes and carbon pricing is it's a sin tax. It's a sin tax like alcohol or tobacco. The only difference being with a sin tax on greenhouse gas emissions, we're paying for the sin of heating our homes in winter and for driving a truck or car if you need it for work, or picking up the kids from school because they live far away. I'm Lorrie Goldstein of Sun Media. We're always interested in hearing your views, and please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our YouTube channel.